motivation for those of you who are struggling, going through difficult times, or whatever it may be. This was literally one of the lowest points in my life, I guess you could say that. I mean, my freedom was taken from me. I was confined behind walls, 20 years old. It's obviously just not the most pleasant place to be, being, especially a grown man or anybody for that matter, being locked up and confined in these kind of environments. So I'm going to try to shoot a video without getting myself in trouble. Let's see if we can pull that off in front of the jail here. So that's the visiting center right there. So you guys are getting like a little bit of a different kind of play on stuff. Let's see what I can do. All right. I'm always doing something creative, right? All right, so we'll get to your Ask Jay session in just 1 second. All right, so we are back for our 4th episode of Ask Jay. I wanted to record for this great aesthetic behind or in front of the prison walls, the prison fences, but I got booted out ASAP. So I tried to set up the tripod, and then they kicked me out. Then I tried to shoot it in my car on the low, and they kicked me out. So I don't want no trouble from the Department of Corrections or state police or any government affiliates. Not my thing. So I'm simply going to shoot this near the highway, and back of me is the Eastern Correctional Institution sign, and we got a little bit of footage from my quick little tour inside. So anyway, the reason why, again, in driving to go see my daughter, I saw the sign for the correctional institution for the prison that I was once locked up in, and I bust a U-turn. I'm like, you know what? I want to shoot a video there just to remind everybody that, you can do anything you want. I see so many people discouraged or frustrated and don't even think they can own a home or have great credit or own an apartment building or own a successful business or a franchise or pass down wealth or build a legacy. We can do anything. And I was able to create a pretty great career for myself in growing coming out of prison. And that wasn't even my last prison I was in. That was the second one. Then I went to Annandale, New Jersey, to a prison there, and then into parole and back into the streets. And just saying that life has a journey. Don't ever count yourself out. Like me, facing 15 years in prison and being locked up there with literal murderers and kidnappers and rapists and all type. This was my environment that I climbed up out of and still went back into the streets doing the wrong thing. And then later on, 5 or 6 years later, after this experience, was able to recreate myself, change my spirit, change my heart, create a companies, and whatever, right? So the point is, just never count yourself out. That's why I'm shooting this video in front of Eastern Correctional Institution, is that you're watching this for Ask Jay to see if your questions got answered. Great. I'm going to give you some great information as we go through these questions, but I also want you to take away something from the video outside of just whatever these questions are, my answers are going to be. I want you to understand that no matter what you are going through, you can climb up out of it. It just takes time and persistence and a plan. And it takes education. You have to know how to maneuver. And so that's why I try to teach people how to fish, how to maneuver through whatever obstacles you have. So let's jump into this before I get kicked out again and get myself in more trouble than we all want. So at Swagger Karmaraka, I guess, Swagger Cam Raka or something like that, asked, I have the secure credit card and a 675 credit score, but I have medical bills and school loans on my report. Which will that negative affect me when I go get my first home? So any debt that you show on your credit report, most of it will affect, not so much, well, it affects your score, but it will affect your debt-to-income ratio. And so that debt-to-income ratio is what banks are going to use to see if you qualify for your new mortgage. So, yes, whatever debt you have, unless your student loans are deferred. If they're deferred, a lot of banks won't count that as debt until the deferment period is over. If you have a car lease or car loan that is less than 24 months or sometimes less than 12 months left on your car lease or car loan, they may not count that also as debt or use that debt in your qualifying ratio, right? So there's different tricks to it, but the most important thing to do, Swagger, Cam, Raka, is to go apply with a mortgage company and let them give you an itemized list of what is working for you and what is not working for you. So don't let that hold you back. But yes, your debt, your loans will to some degree be counted. And medical bills as well. They may have to be paid off if they're in collections, or they have to be put in some kind of payment plan that will be counted as debt depending on how long the term is of that payment plan, if that makes sense. All right, so our next question. At Rob Sturg, how can I invest in a small 4 to 6 unit apartment for rental with down payment options, FHA conventional? So Rob, if you want to invest in anything 1 to 4 units, you can buy that owner occupied, and you can get a conventional loan or FHA loan for 1 to 4 units, or 4 units sometimes mixed use as an FHA loan. If you want to invest in units greater than 4 units, 6, 8, 10 units, that would be a commercial loan. There's multiple ways to do it. Conventional financing is one route, which may require 20 to 25 or 30% down payment on a 5 unit and better. For a 1 to 4 unit FHA or conventional, you're looking at 3.5% down, 5% down, 10% down, depending on the program. So you can invest in a 4 to 6 unit. Just have a strategy, and again, leverage your mortgage broker, mortgage bankers for the right programming for you. So next we have at Scully T. How can you secure $10 million in funds with only $1 million down or liquidity? Well, you're typically not going to get a bank that's going to give you a 90% loan just because you have $1 million and now you want to get $10 million. So you really want greater than a 90% loan from the bank, right? So if you want something for $10 million, you got 10% of that $1 million. That's not going to be enough. So you're going to need partners in that situation, or you're going to need some kind of secondary mortgage in a bank that will accept a second mortgage. Meaning you have 10%, but now you got to, and say the bank is requiring 30%, which is probably what it will be, unless you have, a great program or experience or some kind of relationship. It may be 25 or 20%, but let's just say 30%. So you need 30% to buy a $10 million multi-unit apartment building, right? So you need 10%, or you need 30%. You have 10 of the 10 million, right? So you got to come up with that other 20%. Long story short, and that could be either through a second mortgage or through a private partner. That's how you would do it. So 10% would not be enough in that situation by itself. And then Twan the guy asked, "Ask Jay, what approaches would you take with starting your own brand with business within your brand?" I don't really get it. But the first step would be to identify your brand. What is it? Right? So really establish a firm brand identity and your brand message, and then figure out who your brand audience is, and then you go attack that audience and announce yourself to the world. And whatever your business models are within that brand, that should be in your messaging as well, in regards to marketing and sales, and what it is you want your consumers or audience to engage you for. So that's the best way I kind of can answer that. Wasn't totally sure in the question, but hope that helps. And then we have Made Capital. Ask Jay, what is your daily morning routine? And so my daily morning routine is not that fancy. It really boils down to, as soon as I wake up, I check my phone. I mean, most of my business happens through either my email, text message. I'll check my social media. I'll post something maybe on Instagram, Twitter to get my day going and to get you all, your day going, who follow me. And, respond, send out any emails. I'll type up any email blasts that are necessary. And then really I get to work. I mean, wash my face, brush my teeth, and that kind of stuff. And then I'll stretch. I've been stretching a lot more lately and trying to get in shape, I guess. And so I'll work out. Maybe I'll do a quick little workout in the house. And then it's just work. I'll grab some coffee. I don't really eat in the mornings, although I know I should. But I'll grab coffee. I probably won't eat till like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 4, 5, 6 o'clock, depending how fast the day is going. And then I just work. I just grind at it. When I sometimes keep my to-do list in my head as a mental exercise, although I don't suggest that you do. But as a mental exercise, I try to remember all my to-do list. And so I'll, track that down and execute. Or I'll have my written to-do list, which I do often keep as well. And I'll just hammer out my task and get to work. So that's my morning routine. My morning routine is wake up, check everything, make sure, there's no emergencies within the businesses, and get to work, get on task. So I hope this is another great episode of Ask Jay for you guys. Episode 4 is done. I wish you could have got the first version of it, man. I was flowing, but hopefully it still was great information for you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It makes it easier for you to be engaged with all the videos that I have coming out. Share it, tell some friends about it, like it, comment. I'll make sure that we check it, and I look forward to just continuing to build. This is one I shot by myself. Hopefully tomorrow my daughter will shoot it for me, and I'm going to commit to, I'm thinking at least 90 days of this. I want to say 30 to be like, give myself a buffer, but I think internally I'm gonna really attempt to do 90 days straight of the Ask Jay platform and just see how we can build and grow and see what happens from there. So talk to you guys soon. I'm in Eastern Shore, Maryland, headed to Virginia, and wish me all safety and well travels and all that. I'll be uploading this in a little bit, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. All right, love you guys. Peace.